Sony and PlayStation just held their China Hero Project event, and seven new PlayStation 4 exclusives were just announced. These games look awesome. We're going to be going through all of them, and I know this event went a little under the radar. I made a video talking about why you guys should be excited, and coming out of the event, yeah, there's a lot of reason to be excited. On top of these 7 game announcements, we've also gotten an update on existing titles, Lost Soul Aside, Pervader, and Project Boundary. So we'll go through the updates on those games at the end of this video, but I know you guys are all about new games, and again, we've got 7 new exclusives announced. It's insane. Let's go through all of them because there's a lot of variety in these games as well, so that's very exciting. First of all, we have the action RPG AI Limit. AI Limit is coming from Sense Game Studios, and here's what the game is. It's a hardcore action RPG, and it touts a rich world of exploration and a thrilling battle experience. In the game, the player will control the heroine, Arissa, relying on her ability and will to save the future world full of threats and mysteries. You can wear a variety of headwear, body, limbs, and other components to adjust their abilities and create a unique character class. The game has a rich variety of weapons, each with a unique combat stance with a wealth of props for the players to find their own fighting rhythm and style. Along the way, you'll encounter a wide variety of characters and work with them to advance the story to understand all aspects of the world. The game has multiple endings, all depending on the player's understanding and judgment of the world. Director of the game, Yang Bin, began to conceive the world setting of the game in 2016 and entered formal development work in 2017. In the meantime, the team constantly tries, overthrows, and summarizes. The purpose is to create unique and original settings and build a rich and novel world environment and role. At the same time, development team also strives to make every monster full of challenges and fun so that every world environment is full of sense, full of exploration elements, and let the control experience flow smoothly. AI Limit again has been announced for the PlayStation 4, no official release date, but that's another game that's shaping up pretty nicely. Okay, so that's a single-player action RPG, but we've also got a pretty interesting online game, Carnivalia. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation of that, but it's an online shooter, and it touts that unlike other shooting games, Carnivalia Project tries to show players with different emotional clutters, real-like experiencing, as well as the stronger and more smooth battle plays. The team Lungforce has been hard at work on the game, repeatedly adjusting the balance point between aesthetics and frames of figure animation. Many previously made games have been studied, compared, and even abandoned to keep iterating to eventually pick the best fruit. What the game wants to represent is all the PlayStation players with an acting and shooting game that is unique and made by the developing team from their homeland. Besides the crazy battles, there's also emotional expression along with the game to sing together a song of, quote, love that couldn't be delivered. Game looks pretty interesting from its trailer. It is an online game, so I'm a little bit skeptical, but it could turn out to be a pretty interesting title. We've got a brand new survival game in Rand Lost Islands. Rand Lost Island is being created by a new studio, Jolly Roger, and at present the studio is fully developing a large-scale multiplayer online competitive game based on this new IP. The founder and core team members of the studio have worked in well-known domestic game companies. Now they choose to set up an independent studio to complete the dream of making console games all the time. Rand Lost Island is the first work after the establishment of the studio. It's also the beginning of the team's dream. This work chose the 17th century, which is the era when this world civilization began to merge and the big voyage began. The studio hopes to create a cold weapon game that can be accepted by the worldwide player base. Another online title that's shaping up pretty nicely. We've also got the announcement of a third-person hack and stealth game, Evo Tension. Evo Tension is coming from the guys over at Spikewave Games, and it's a passionate game development team founded by 4 experienced hardcore game developers whose years of close cooperation have forged a shared vision in addition to a highly efficient team. Evo Tension is a third-person stealth game featuring unique hacking mechanics. The developers share an enormous passion for the stealth genre and wish to provide a complex and dynamic stealth experience for players. A variety of hacking skills, environment, devices, and gadgets provide rich, emergent gameplay. The game is set in the near future, and it aims to discuss the relationship between evolution and extinction. As technology rapidly develops, its potential threat grows as well. Artificial intelligence, gene editing, and quantum entanglement are just a few emerging technologies that will challenge mankind's understanding of life and morality. The trend cannot be undone. How far will our species go with technology? Super interesting premise for a game. We don't see a lot of hacking games, and the hack and stealth mechanic, that's definitely won me over. I'm very interested in checking this game out. And by the way, this game is being created by former 2K China staff, so that's an interesting note as well. I think this is going to be one that ends up surprising a lot of people. Again, sorry if I butchered the name of that one, but this is coming from Thinking Stars, an action RPG, and the studio is composed of a bunch of veterans and youngsters full of enthusiasm in console game development. With a combination of the pixel art style and the cyberpunk elements, those hardcore action game lovers strike up the world of Anno. Anno Munonium set up a near-future metropolis after the catastrophe. Moreover, they've introduced the famous open-source work series SCP Foundation foundation into the world. After the release of the concept video, the project quickly gained a lot of attention and support from a large number of players, and the continual communication and interaction with the players is also a typical feature. From the abandoned ruins of a former giant city to the bustling street in the metropolis, the developers of Anno hope to provide a refreshing combat experience and rich exploration in the world. The game's got a super unique presentation style, and right away when I was looking at this game, I was instantly absorbed by it. This is another one that can end up surprising a lot of people. Definitely keep it on your radar, and we'll keep you guys posted on that one as well. Next up, we've got the horror adventure game in Nightmare. Nightmare is coming from Magic Fish Studio, and Nightmare is still a working title, so expect that to evolve a little bit. And the game touts a dark fairy tale of exploring the growing pain and self-salvation. Players will wander in a mysterious dream world and otherworld. It is an adventure game combined with imagination and realism. The intention of designing this game is to inspire people's interest with philosophy and knowledge, as the founder of the studio, Fan Yu, is an experienced developer and a core gamer since his childhood. With his own vision of making good games, he hopes to become more professional developer together with his team by joining the China Hero project. Nightmare still looks to be pretty early on in development, but a pretty interesting horror title and another one to keep your eyes on, especially if you're a fan of horror games. And lastly, as far as the new game announcements go, we have the Dieselpunk Metroidvania title in Fist. Fist is another game with a very interesting aesthetic style, and it's also a working title right now, so pretty early on in development. But Fist is the second game coming from TI Games, and it's a Metroidvania game that the player will play as a rabbit who can manipulate the big mech arm on his back. Exploring in a vivid Dieselpunk world and fighting against the evil robot army, there will be a vast world map for the player to explore, to meet with friend NPCs and encounter enemies, discover items and weapons, and seek for the answers for the secrets hidden behind. TI Games want to give a Metroidvania a shot even with all of the other Metroidvania games on the market, because they want their Fist to be considered as one of these great Metroidvania games in the future, with the top quality that players will all enjoy playing on PlayStation platforms. Again, based on the fact that Fist is a working title, I imagine this is pretty early on in development, but just on the premise of the game, playing as a rabbit with a mech arm on his back, that sounds really cool. And as far as premise goes, I gotta give them some credit for originality. Alright, so those 7 games were the new games announced, and those are some cool games. I look at games like AI Limit, Anno looks awesome, and Fist has definitely gotten my attention as well. But a lot of you guys might be wondering about the existing titles, whether it be Lost Soul Aside, Pervader, and Project Boundary. We have updates on all of those. All of those games are still in development. We don't have any release dates yet. It was noted with Lost Soul Aside that they might not need to wait that long to purchase a copy of the game. And Yang Bing is not alone anymore. He already has a team which has more than 14 developers. Also, he has China Hero project support. More and more people walk together during his journey. Everything is becoming better than before, so that game continues to be in development. Pervader is also in development, and it's under development by using Unreal Engine 4. And the biggest difference between Pervader and the other titles is the pace and the way they release those content, but this is exactly the thing they want. Hope this title can bring more surprises in the near future. So we didn't hear much about that, but looks like that game is in consistent development as well. And lastly, we have Project Boundary, which was one of the first games announced as a part of this project. The studio remains a low profile, but at a high efficient developing pace after they have released the first trailer of the game. Frank, one of the founders of the studio, used to work in UK for over a decade in the gaming industry. His engineering career helps him meet with other founders when he came back to China. They together then created the studio, and Project Boundary itself also became more complete compared to its very first GDD and prototype. Although the team is still busy developing, which means audience may wait a bit longer to see more news, but the most important thing to the team is to create a complete and high quality experience. So those are the updates on those games, but a lot of cool stuff coming out of China, and if these games do see the light of day soon, which I hope they do, I think this project has been a gigantic slam dunk success. When you look at games like LSA and all of these other games that are coming out, some big budget titles, and I think games that are gonna really resonate over here in the West, as long as they deliver from a quality standpoint. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts. Which games are you looking forward to the most out of these new announcements? Let us know. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.